Welcome back to the lab. You'll see the low-cost 7 thing's gone, and we've put a new ECU in the ute. Put a long video, some of you didn't like that, so I put a shorter video, and that went alright, and then it crashed, so I don't know what's going on with that. But anyway, there'll be some more videos that some of you will like, and some of you won't like, and it's to do with this thing that's behind us here. It's one of those things. No, that's not a Lamborghini Diablo. They have a little piece of trim that comes across here that stops you seeing that it's a Nissan headlight that they've used. Some of it's a really nice colour. I don't mind that colour. Actually, I don't mind that colour either. And I don't mind this colour at all. In fact, it resembles a colour of another car that we had in here not so long ago. The difference between this one and the one that was in here not so long ago is this one's partially through a makeover, shall we say. So a bit of body work going on there. A lot of different colours happening. That's all going to get sorted. Not by me. I don't do that sort of thing. The difference is we're finishing off a project that's evolved and moved along over the years. The guy that owns this has had it years and years and years and years and years. So this motor's been built properly and this is actually run and it's good. There's actually nothing wrong with it. Geez, I'm brave saying that right now, aren't I? Anyway, there's no known issues with this other than there's pieces that need finishing off. There's a bunch of plumbing to do. There's a bunch of electrical stuff. There's all sorts of things to go in here, including this. Cue the Fast and Furious thing. We were standing there in. Needs 2 bottles, big bottles. So this is very similar spec to the other blue 300, most properly fully blue, not just little bits blue, 300 ZX that we had in earlier with the red intake plenum on top of it. This is actually very, very similar specs. So this has got JWT 500 cams in it versus the other one had Franklin cams, I believe. This has got the BDE upgraded inlet pulleys, so did the other one. This has actually got adjustable, you can't see it on this side, exhaust cam pulleys. See the AMS smoked timing belt covers that everyone reckoned were all going to fade and crack and all that sort of carry. Well, some people did. Years and years and years later, they're still good. So that's yep, kind of expected that would happen. A lot of stuff to go on in here. Finishing the plumbing, finishing the electrical, doing the oil system, fitting the cooler and all that sort of carry on. So we've got some bigger brakes hiding in here, some D2 brakes. Had to do a tiny little mod, just a bit of a tweak there for the owner to get the wheels to fit without a spacer. So first little job's actually already done. Excuse the stuff and things in the way. Look at the dish on these 13-inch wheels. Some little marks on the wheels, so we've marked those with tape so we know where they are. I'll get these off to Tube and Frame in Cambridge and get them tidied up for the guy who's not very impressed that the tow truck driver wrecked them, so we'll fix them straight away. Look at the fatness going on there. 335s, yep, pretty wide. Some exhaust system stuff and things to do. These are twin tip mufflers and the bumper's only got single hole. A little bit of a whoopsie daisy. The owner bought them on special and forgot about the shape of here. So we're either modifying the bumper or we're changing the mufflers to something else that'll fit the bumper. Either or, we'll figure it out when we get there. There's a big list of things to do. Don't pause and read that. It's none of your business. Lot of things to happen, bit of sketty to deal with. First thing we're going to do is I'm actually going to start at the back of the car because I want to. We've got something nice to put in the back of the car. This here. I wouldn't normally leave this lying around out in the open, but it's going to be fitted immediately. I have blanked off the stuff and things. Polar Engineering, I think it is. There you go. Those guys, they make this absolute work of art to go into the 2-seater 300ZX fuel tanks. Let's take that off and look a little bit nicer without that. This very nicely built, constructed contraption. 2 fuel pumps, one bigger than the other. Plenty of fuel there available for us. Dash 8 outlet, dash 6 return. Has the little valve in here to pull the fuel from the other side of the tank. That's what that fitting there is for. Pretty awesome. So I'm going to start with that because it's bling, and because if I get that in the fuel tank and out of the way, it won't get scratched, it won't get lost, won't go missing, and it's just done. It's nice and easy. There are some other things underneath the back of the car that I want to deal with, so we'll just do it all at the same time. Let's pull it to bits. It's broken. Someone's pulled it all apart. This is all looking all right. Some things to sort out. Weird bushes in the ends here. I'm not sure what the deal is with those, where they came from or whatever, but no problem. Deal with it. This was interesting. Spot the problem. That's your main fuel pickup, which is looking a little bit black. I'm not going to touch that because that's dry. And look how ooky that looks. That's today's special word, ooky. The pickup wasn't attached to the pump by the looks of it. I'm pretty sure I didn't knock that off on the way out of here. So that's interesting. Could have caused some problems if we were attempting to retain this. We're not, so that's good luck. A little bit of the old. And if you could smell through the screen here, oh, it's disgusting. Not too bad otherwise. A little bit to slosh out of there. Oh, there's a little bit of shite down in there, isn't there? That's not as good as it could be. But certainly a little bit of a clean. The tank's perfectly usable. You'll notice I gave the top a bit of a clean before I took these off. Otherwise all the dirt and crud just goes straight in there and make your life a lot harder than it needs to be. These seals at the top, I don't think they like the fuel that was in there. They're very, well, you can't see it, very, very squishy compared to what they're supposed to be. Yeah, fun and games. That's what happens when they sit around for a long time. Yeah, it's not particularly clean in here. That's after cleaning. I'm actually just using ethanol. And that's, I've cleaned a little bit so you can see how dirty the rest of it is. It's scummy, tacky, varnishy goop that we really don't want in there with our new stuff and things that we're putting in. There are some tabs for this surge tray, shall we call it. You can undo those and clean underneath, and that might have to happen, but obviously it's not going to come out. It's clearly a lot bigger than the hole we've got here. That's right. Get on with it. Get her done. Look at that. Beautiful. I've had enough of the smell today. Stinky old 15-year-old fuel. Tomorrow, AN8 fitting. Well, I'm not sure if I'm going to do a hard line from here down to here. You got to sneak it past there. I probably will, because the hard line is going to be the lowest profile thing to get from here. So I'll see what I can do as far as getting it around the corner with a fitting that's low enough profile that doesn't clash with the chassis. May involve a couple of test fits from there down to there. Like I say, that's the return line down to there. That's the vent. We'll run. Probably put the original one back. Oh, it's all attached. Oh, it's all attached. It's too hard. Time to go inside. I got distracted with work and forgot to record things for you, but look, there's the subframe and everything, all nice and cozy under there. Because while we were at it under here, not that you can see it anymore because I've covered it up with the fuel tank, I've finished off the undersealing, so the owner, or maybe someone on behalf of the owner, has done a nice job of undersealing the car, making it all look beautiful. And of course, with the fuel tank in there, you can't get all of the areas. So I've done that. It's very, very hard to see, but basically the entire thing is beautiful up under there now. And the fuel tank's back in, and you can't see the hoses that I've put in up here because there's literally very little space. But we've got the Teflon series, 200 series, I think it is. AN6 return and AN8 main. So obviously I'm not going to run those to the front because we're a little bit short at one end. There'll be a fuel filter here, much like we did with the Blue Z. That worked out quite well. The other Blue Z, this one's a grey Z at the moment, I guess. So there'll be a fuel filter here, and there'll be some fittings on the end of some hard lines. We've got the hard lines there. One of those is AN6, one of those is AN8. 3/8 and 7/16 or whatever it is, the two different sizes that we need. We'll do same as what we did. Run that forward through to there. In fact, I don't know. I'll have a talk with some people and see what the issue may be. But we could perhaps put the fuel pressure regulator back here to keep the engine bay nice and clean and tidy, and just run the pressure line back, a vacuum line to. Yeah, there might be some delays. But there's certainly, there's no room to hide one down here. Oh, there probably is actually. You probably put a bracket and put the fuel pressure reg down here. Put a heat shield around it. Yeah, look, maybe. I'll have a think about that. I'll stop talking about things while I'm thinking about them. Busted off nut in behind here. Quite common. People accidentally put the wrong threaded bolts in here. I've seen that, and they get stripped out, and then the other one is they tear themselves out of the actual car. The captivated nut tears out of the mountain behind here. So I've rectified that. Somebody had put a nut in there once before and behind there, so there was a hole up the top. I've left that there. It won't do any harm. I put a proper insert and welded it in there, and the other side here the thread was stripped out, so that's been helicoiled, so that's now beautiful. We've got to do a proper drive shaft hoop. What was on there was a aftermarket American/Canadian one, which bolts onto here. I mean, it's better than nothing, but the maximum distance we're allowed from the front yoke to where your drive shaft hoop is 250 millimeters, so it's about here. So that's considerably further. So I have to make a hoop to go into here, so I'll get on with that. Probably that'll be tomorrow's job. I'll have a chat with Mr. Owner. This is all looking, see, this is why I put a cover on it. Look at all the rubbish sitting on here. This is all looking pretty nice, a little bit dirty in places, that's fine. All pretty nice and blingy. These knuckles, I reckon we go and get them vapor blasted, and then it's all going to look almost like brand new. It's going to look good. Won't take much to whip that apart. It's probably an hour's work all up to whip them off and put them back on again, get them vapor blasted. It's probably might be a $200 bill, and then just the whole back end's just going to look bling, much more bling. I got distracted in between doing actual paid work. These are for the March. It's got nothing to do with the Z, but some of you might be interested. So in the front strut towers, we've got the camber adjustment, but there's no caster adjustment. And the top of the struts is basically in the middle of the tower, a bit like these ones. This isn't the actual part. This is for the back, but the fronts are very similar. So I've went and saw Marshall profile cutting, and we drew these up while I was waiting, and this will fit nice and snug inside of the top of the strut tower. Spread the load out. I probably will put some holes in them and make them lighter, and I've shifted the top of the strut forward 20 millimeters, which takes us from 10 degrees of caster down to about a 7.8 degrees of caster, which is still heaps, but as you can see, we're running out of strut tower. We've got to actually move the strut tower to get it down less than that. Ideally 5 degrees is plenty. 10 is way too much, and you end up with, way off topic here, sorry, we end up with, because of the angle as the wheel turns, I think your contact patch on the ground, especially considering big fat tyres like on the March, you just lose so much contact. Not good. So a whole lot less caster and keeps the contact patch of the tyre more gooder. Suddenly it all fell apart. You guys wanted a video on your Wednesday night anyway, didn't you? Well, the important bit's missing because they're over here. They didn't, I mean, once you take them off the car, they actually look even worse. So someone's had a wee go at tidying them up, but that's a big task when it's part of an assembly. So we'll take those off, see our mates at Colin's Profile Cutting, and they'll vapor blast them, and they'll look just like brand new, basically. I hope, well, certainly will clean up anyway. And I might tidy up these brake rotors while we're at it. In the meantime, this can probably go back in the car because it'll be a little bit easier to deal with those pieces missing. I just make sure we can still put the bolts back in the arms. Sometimes you assemble them the wrong way, and this part here winds up in here somewhere, and you can't get the bolts in and out. So we'll just make sure that can happen. There's a truck or something with a beeper that sounds like a phone. All right, thanks for watching. Cheers, bye.